Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic evening. And I also hope that this live stream has started. I never know. There we go. Oh, there we are. Hello and welcome. I believe we are now live. I have just been talking to a screen for the last 10 seconds that I don't think was live. And it's always funny when you find out that you've been talking to yourself, as I often am inclined to do. Good evening to all of you. I would love to encourage you as you jump on the call with us tonight. Let me know who's here. I see we have a few people who are up. Greg and Fran and the Jaspers, you are on it, and I know Greg and Jody, you are as well. But let's see who else is here. We've got Yvette. Welcome, Yvette. Is Rex on? I don't know. We'll see. Hope to see Rex on the call as well. Scotty Sanders, Jenny, Randy. How are you doing, Randy? Good to see you. Hope you guys are having a fantastic evening. It is an amazing day of weather. And all days are gifts from above, I realize, but let's be honest, some days are better to be outside than others. If you notice, I feel like I've been getting a little bit of sun because I desperately need it. Let's see, Lizzie Cunningham. Hey, babe. Not sure where Wes is. I'm sure Wes will be probably trying to come into my office in just a moment here. I'm going to now, like I usually do, share this broadcast. If you would do us a huge favor, share this. Can't talk and do this at the same time. Share this broadcast. And actually, you picked a great one to tune into because we've got some really exciting news tonight. So again, if you can, don't just like, but do that, but share this broadcast if you can, just to let other people in your news feed and Facebook universe know what you're doing. I'm excited for tonight because we've got some very good news to share with you. But before we get there, I just have to, hey, Courtney, how are you? Gina, hello, Michael, good to see you. Let's see, Greg, we miss Wes. I know, he's such a cute kid. Elena. Okay, Elena, is this your first time you've actually logged on to one of these? I think this is the first time I've seen you live, so shame. Art, good to see you. Will, yes, more Wes. Justin, what's up, Justin? So I just have to have a quick brag, proud parent moment. So most of you know Jack. Jack is our rambunctious and fun-filled 6.5, almost 7-year-old. He'll be 7 years old. Oh my goodness, in a month and a day or something like that. Anyways, so he has been riding his bike on training wheels. And I have for weeks, if not months, been trying to get him excited about taking off his training wheels, but he's always reluctant to do that. He's pretty cautious. He likes to be very safe. Probably gets that from his mother. In fact, his training wheels have been slowly wearing out, and he always asks, Dad, what happens when my training wheels go? I said, you only get, there's like a law, you only get one set of training wheels. So after that, you have to learn how to ride a bike. And so, y'all, this week, give Jack some love. He learned to ride his bike, I kid you not, in 1 hour. 1 hour of trying, he was flying up and down the street. Now, only in straight lines, mind you. Today, at lunchtime, we took some time and we learned how to turn, which he was very excited about. And then this evening, we were working on stopping and starting. So I am just over the moon, so proud of my little Jack. We love him and we're so proud of him. So Jack, if you're on here, we love you, buddy. Randy Wysocki, Wes. Wes is my second child. So he's a cute little baby. So you might not hang out with him very much. Let's see, Pam Mosier. Hey, hi from Arizona. Let's see, yeah. So again, very excited about Jack learning to ride a bike. And yeah, it's been a fantastic afternoon and evening. Let's see here, Danielle Gamos. Hello and thank you for the props. We'll send those to Jack as well. Let's see here. And again, just appreciate everyone on the call letting me know who's here so that we can just know who's here, And please like and please share this broadcast because, again, it's just helpful to get our information out to the entire universe and interweb. Okay. Let's see. Are we seeing anyone else here? Cliff and Ann, good to see both of you as usual. Everyone else having a good day. I'm believing in faith that you are having a fantastic day. And again, I'd like to thank you for jumping on the call with us tonight. So I think I want to get into this because I'm very excited about some news tonight that we have. Hello, Jamie Hollifield. So I don't know if many of you have been paying attention to the news. I'm sure you have. This week we got word from our governor, Governor Abbott, about plans to gradually reopen the state of Texas. As you've heard, there's been a little bit of a disruption of normal life recently. And so Texas, along with a number of other states, are taking steps to slowly reopen and return back to some sense of normalcy. And hello, Ron and Lynn. And so, in accordance with some of those guidelines, one of the constituencies that they've addressed are churches like us. And so, we've been paying attention to that very closely. We have been having lots and lots of conversations and spending time in prayer just to try to ascertain and discern what the direction we need to go as a church. And so I'm very excited to announce that we have, as a leadership team, started to work towards an opening day of May 10th. That is Mother's Day. It's not this weekend, but it will be next weekend, where we are planning on beginning to reopen and to re-enter, whatever you want to call it. So on May 10th, I'm very excited to announce, and if I can get some like whoops in the comments or some high fives or some hallelujahs in the comments, I'd appreciate that. On May 10th, we will begin to reopen our services, and I'm very excited about that. Hello, Sandra. Good to see you, by the way. And so what I wanted to do tonight is I wanted to give you some more context and some of the things that we're working on and working towards to help us do this in a way that is both organized, that also is as safe and uses a lot of wisdom, because we know that there are still there is still a coronavirus out there, and we have certainly not overcome all of the hurdles that are associated with this, but we're going to be taking the lead from our state and local leaders, and we're going to, again, slowly and responsibly and hopefully with a lot of wisdom, start to reopen and start to begin to serve our community again in the way that, not the way we're used to, because I think we'll be in a different time as a church with that, which will be exciting, but there will be a semblance of normalcy that we will start to work into. So what I wanted to do here, Kim Jones, hey, good to see you, Kim, also a good friend from Eugene, Oregon. So what I wanted to do for the bulk of our conversation tonight is to give you some more context about how we are looking at re-entering, and then also addressing the fact that we know that there's a lot of people who maybe aren't going to be ready. And so we're going to talk about how we're going to try to manage both of those concerns and still move forward in a direction. So with that, I'm working from a document here, and it's kind of my own notes here. So I'm gonna kind of read through this and just start to paint you a picture of what you can expect. I also would always encourage people to be asking questions. If you have things in the comments, for instance, that you would like to have addressed that I maybe didn't mention, or that, questions or things, feel free to jump in and we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. Okay. What we're doing here is we are looking at this process in a phased approach. And right now we are thinking about 3 phases. Phase 1 starting May 10th. And so there will be more to this. So if you're thinking, well, what about this? Or what, realize that we will be phasing things in gradually, and everything is not going to be just as you are used to it in phase 1. And I hope that goes without saying, but I'll start giving you some more context here as well. Okay, so May 10th will be the day that we begin to reopen services. We are planning at this stage to have 2 services at 9:30 and 11. The reason for this is, even though our capacity will be significantly reduced, and these will probably be fairly small services, the idea here is we want to try to spread out as many people as possible so that we're minimizing, we're maximizing social distancing. I'll say it that way. And so what we're going to be asking here, and the dates are all subject to change, But phase one, we're looking at a 3 to 4 week time frame of phase one. So phase two would probably kick in early June. That's what we're thinking about, the first weekend of June, most likely. So during this phase, what we would ask first and foremost, and I just want to say this, I can't say this enough, is that if A, you are a person who is at risk, and it's well documented what that means, and if you believe that you in some way, shape, or form are at risk, we want to encourage you, nay, we want to implore you to stay home and continue worshiping online. We'll talk about how we're going to do that. So if you're at risk, please use good judgment. We're going to trust you, but use good judgment. The other thing we're going to ask is, we want to make sure is very clear, is if for some reason, if you just don't feel like it's the right time for you or your family, please go with your gut, go with your, however God leads you, or however you feel you need to do as an individual or family, please do that. And we will be excited for whatever you choose to decide. We sent out a survey, by the way, to our entire church. Many, if not most of you, probably responded to that. But we received a very large portion of responses back that say that we're ready to come back either immediately or between 1 and 2 weeks. So again, we'll see how you come through on your surveys. But we feel there's a large portion of our community, at least, that is excited to come back to worship within 1 to 2 weeks or immediately. So, but again, if you don't want to, that's totally fine. If you are somehow unable to or feel like you're at risk, please continue to worship from home, and we'll talk about what that looks like here in just a moment. So what we're doing is we're also taking the state guidelines, and we're using the state guidelines as a way to help understand how we're going to reopen. So during phase one, we are only going to be meeting in our auditorium at a capacity of 25%. And that gets important here in just a few minutes. But just know that from a building use perspective, we are going to be limiting our gathering to just the auditorium, and we're going to keep that at 25% of what it can seat and comfortably hold usually. So again, it'll be a much smaller service, but we're excited to take that step. And then, of course, as the phases go on, the percentages increase, and then hopefully services will grow. So I'm not going to give you every bit of information here because there's probably more than I'm prepared to give right now. And frankly, we're still working through some of these details, but I want to help paint a picture of what worship will look like. So as you come to the church, we're going to ask that everyone enter at the north side, which is the side closest to 407. So you're going to park in the front or park in the back, whatever, and walk to the front of the building. And we're going to do that so that we can control who goes in, who goes out, so we know how many people are in the building so that we're complying with social distancing guidelines. So you'll be coming in the first entrance, and then we're going to ask you to go right to your seat. We're not going to be doing lots of running around and hugging. I know I'm a hugger. I want to hug everyone, but I'm not going to do it. We're going to go right to our seats in the worship center, and then we'll get service started at normal times. When it comes to PPE, so masks and whatnot, we want to encourage everyone to be using masks. And if you have one, we realize not everyone has one, or if you don't want one, we're not going to ask questions. I would just encourage you to use a mask. You will see a lot of people with masks. There will probably be a few people who won't be. So I just want everyone to be clear. Imagine you're walking into Target. You probably see a majority of people with masks, but there's going to be people who don't. So I just want you to be aware of that and just be duly informed. So we're going to have doors open, and so you'll be able to come in. You'll go right to your seat, and then we'll get started. So the auditorium, by the way, will have our seating is going to be configured in a way that's going to have alternating rows, and there will be ushers to help you sit in your appropriate seat, and to make sure that we're maintaining a good distance between your family or you and your person and the next person. So we'll be assisting with that. We're going to have some rows and things marked off where, like, just don't be that person. We're going to have some pieces of paper with a red X on it on the seat. So don't sit there, and don't be that person who sits where we told you not to. We will kick you out. Well, I don't know if we will, but don't be that person. Okay. Obviously, social distancing, so no handshakes, no hugs, no high fives, no smiles. No, I'm just kidding about the smiles part. But hey, we're gonna be doing social distancing. So for worship, we're gonna be coming in. We're gonna have a time of acoustic worship. So Will and a couple of people from the team will be leading us in that. It's going to be a great time of worship. We will have teaching like usual. At the end, we will have communion, but the communion elements will be pre-packaged and they will be sitting on your chair. So we won't be passing communion. And then after we take communion, we'll do that together. And you'll take your communion elements and you'll put them in trash cans on your way out of the auditorium. Speaking of which, the auditorium, you will exit out of the south side of the building. So we're going to have people kind of come in the north and exit the south, and then you can walk to your cars. Hopefully the weather will be good. Okay. Also, during this time, we're going to have folks from our Bridge Builders team working on sanitation. So we're going to have people wiping down doors and making sure that we're going to be wiping down surfaces. We're also between service going to go through and sanitize chairs and flip chairs. So the chairs that are used for our first service will not be used second and vice versa. So let me just say, we're going to go over and above everything that we can to make sure that we're creating a safe and clean environment. Our services, we're going to keep them at least no more than an hour. So we'll have some extended time between our services to go through and clean things and make sure things are spick and span as much as we can make them. Okay. Let me see here. Oh, we are not going to be doing food and coffee. So go to Starbucks, bring your coffee, do whatever you want. Your Diet Coke. I know some of you like to do that at 9:30 in the morning, which is just bizarre to me, but whatever. So bring your own coffee, bring your own food. We're just gonna for this phase, we're just not doing it. So bring your own stuff and feel free to enjoy it during service. I will probably have Starbucks. So while we are worshiping, so this speaks to the people who are going to be in our building, but also at home. We are going to continue to provide online content for you, except now what it will be is a live streamed service. Exactly what the people in the room are experiencing, you will experience that at the exact same time. You'll get to worship alongside with us. You get to hear some amazing, life-changing preaching. You'll get a chance to participate with communion, obviously in your house, but you can do that with us. So we're going to make that available. So at 9:30, there will be a live stream on Facebook and on YouTube, as well as 11. And then you can come back to that later if you miss it and watch it like you usually do. And so we want to do that to help provide as similar of an experience for everyone as we can. And it's going to be an experiment for us. We've never done live streaming. We've been working really hard on it, and so we're feeling excited, but it'll be new and it could go horribly wrong. And wouldn't that be hilarious to be able to watch that? So you can watch us totally fall on our faces from the comfort of your living room. So let's see here. And I realize there's some questions here. I'll go through some of these questions that I'm reading, and I maybe Scotty, maybe you're reading some of those things as well. So yeah, we'll go through some of those questions here. So the other big thing I wanted to mention, I realize I said I wasn't giving you much detail. I'm giving you a lot of detail. So there you go. As far as kids go, and I realize that's a big question I've heard a lot of. I have kids, so I'm curious about that as well. Right now, and this is, I would tell you that there's not a single church that I'm aware of that is doing something different than this, is right now with social distancing concerns, we are not going to be having a dedicated children's service. So what does that mean? First of all, we want you to know that your kids are welcome to come into the auditorium. You will sit as a family. You will be having a clean and safe place. And we understand that it might be a challenge with kids. I get that. So again, feel free to not attend, but also if you want to, come one, come all. For kids, we will have, Tim and his team are putting together kits so that as you walk in, if you have kids and want this, you can have a kids kit with coloring and with things that will be relevant for them that they can do during the service if it helps them focus and concentrate. I say, if you have an iPad, and if you want them to bring an iPad, let them watch an iPad with some headphones. I don't care. It's going to be a little chaotic. I love it. Let's do it. So just know that your kids are welcome to attend if you want them to, but just know we're going to be all together. And then in phase 2, we'll address kids, and we're going to be working towards having expanded programming. We'll talk about that later. So kids are welcome, but it will not be a kids service. But again, we'd encourage you to worship as a family if you so desire. Okay. There's going to be, again, a lot of stuff that you're used to in our services. We'll do worship, we'll do teaching, we'll have a time of communion. Giving, we're going to encourage people to continue to give online. However, you'll notice that at the exits of our auditorium, there are now 2 boxes. So if you like to give with cash or check or whatever, you can drop that in on your way out, and then our team will take care of that. And again, a lot of it will be familiar. It will be very simple, though. Again, it's going to be acoustic worship, and some of you will probably just absolutely love that anyways. So let's see here. So those are some of the big things. Now let me go through the comments here and see what questions I have. Randy, that is a bold question. I don't know if you want me to answer that. And I don't know if your wife wants me to answer that as well. So Sarah, hopefully Randy makes up for his comment with flowers. Let's see, Ron. So yeah, Scotty already answered that. Max capacity of our worship auditorium is about 400. So 25% of that is about 100 people. And so we're going to probably be a little more conservative than that, and just to make sure that we're maximizing distancing. Today we went through, we actually put things out on chairs and made sure it all looked right. And so we're confident that we can get about 100, between 80 and 100 people in there. I'll talk more about that. Oh, I didn't mention the most important thing. The most important thing you need to know about is if you want to attend live at BridgeWay on campus, you are going to be asked to register in advance. The reason is, based on the interest we have received, there is a very high likelihood that we will not have enough seating at one service for everyone. And so we need you to register in advance. And I'm so glad I'm doing this, because this is why I'm doing this call. You go to bwchurch.org right now. I'm going to type this in the comments so that there is no doubt here. bwchurch.org. And it's going to take you to our landing page. And if you'll notice, this is not our normal landing page. It is a COVID-19 re-entry page. Oh, I don't want to end the video now. Oops. How do I send this? Oh, there we go. Okay, there is a landing page with information, some of the information you heard now, but there's also a link to register. Now, this is first come, first serve, by the way. So anyone on this call, you've got a leg up. You need to register for either 9:30 or 11 o'clock on May 10th. That will guarantee that you have a spot at that service. Now, if you don't register and you come, and if there is room, we'll of course let you in, but we're gonna have to give precedence to people who registered first. And I know that's bizarre, and I know someone's gonna have a theological beef, and you're just gonna have to take it somewhere else, because that's the best we can do. We're trying to do what we can to ensure that everyone who makes the effort to come has a spot. And since we're going to be so severely limited in our worship center, we really have to make sure that we do some advanced planning. So sign up today. I wouldn't wait on it. Get your spot saved for this coming week, and then we will be happy to see you on Sunday. Again, and if you have friends that want to come to church, have them sign up as well. Again, we want everyone to come who can. Let's just use the tools that we have, and we're asking you to make sure that we can serve everyone and not have to turn anyone away, because that would be just a big bummer. Okay. Don't you know there's assigned seats at church? Tina Crowder, yes. And I was going to make some jokes that, like, yeah, but I won't. But no, now you really kind of have assigned seating, and you can, yeah. Anyways, let's see. Fran, I like my caffeine cold. That's good, because your coffee will be cold by the time you get here. Greg is one of those Diet Coke people. Ugh. Let's see. It sounds like you and the team have put a lot of time and thought into this. We appreciate. Oh, of course. Thank you, Danielle. I will say that we have, and we're continuing to work on that. So we're continuing to do the best that we can on this. So Sandra, thank you. Jennifer, sweet, yay. Okay, good. That's not a question, but we'll take it. So please help us do everything you can to get the word out. And I realize it's different, and not everyone's we're not gonna be able to get everyone, but help us where you can. That's why I asked you to share this video. Share this video. Let people you know in your small group, or that you know at BridgeWay, to kind of crowdsource this information. And then we will be really excited to see you on May 10th. It will be great to be back, even though it'll be very different and very weird, probably for the first week or two. It's going to be great nevertheless, and we'll press into it, and it will be fantastic. So let's hear. We are new to BridgeWay and excited to get back to church. Yes, Andrea, we are excited to have you back as well. Let's see here. So again, so far, all you are just saying is this is really great. So that's fantastic. I would encourage you to go to bwchurch.org right now. You can do this, and I'm going to just do this as well. You can go here, and as a matter of fact, I wonder if I can share my screen. I cannot. Okay, I can't share my screen with you, but you go here and you scroll down. There's like a paragraph, and it says register for services. You click on the link. I'm doing this right now so you can see that it works. It takes you to another page that says select a date, and you select a date. There we go. Pretty easy. Sunday, 9:30, May 10th, 9:30 and 11. Oh, this is very clever. Okay, we actually have a few dates that you can snag right now. So if you want to try to get tickets for future services, it looks like you can do that. Again, you are totally lucking out here because you are on our call tonight. So let's see here. Any other questions, comments, fears, phobias that I can address here now? Going once, going twice. Again, I'm really excited. It's been a bizarre time, and just as we prepare to re-enter, just know it's going to be different. It's going to be a little bit unnormal, but it's going to be a step into something new that we all get to take together, and that makes me really excited to be able to do that with all of you fantastic people as our BridgeWay family, and to jump in. So again, I'm really excited about it. You should be very encouraged. God has been good to us, and we'll continue to just take one step at a time in faith, and we're going to plan as well as we can, and then we'll ultimately ask God to do what He wants to do, because that, I think you would agree with me, is the most important thing. No one is asking questions. Again, I'm just sometimes impressed. No questions, no lack of clarity. Everyone is perfectly clear about everything, in not just about this, but about everything. Because you can ask me a question about anything, and none of you ever do. Let me just finish with a very brief devotional, and I just want to share with you a very short passage of scripture that just spoke to me today, and hopefully it will speak to you. I'll make a couple of comments, and then we'll call it an evening. Oh, one more thing. Throwing this out here. One of the things, though, that we are still trying to figure out, and this is something that we're figuring out, is though a lot of you want to come back, here's what I want to challenge you. Right now, we depend on so many of our volunteers to do what we do on Sunday mornings, and there's a whole bunch of people, and again, we don't really even know what this is going to look like, but I imagine there's a lot of our volunteers who might be coming back, but also might be staying home. So I want to challenge you. If you are excited to come back to church, and if you're ready and you're just like in the mode and in the zone and ready to go, and if you don't serve, I want to challenge you to serve. There's going to be lots of opportunities, and there's going to be some new opportunities. There's going to be some things that we'll probably do now that we didn't used to do. And so I want to challenge you to consider serving. If you will rise to that occasion, and you don't need to be a technical person, you don't need to be whatever, you just need to be willing, and we will find a place for you to serve. I would challenge you. Will you put a comment in this chat or send us a direct message? I would love to encourage you to do that and to be a part of the team. Okay, yes. Do we have a question? We have some questions here. Jody, if we register 1 week, should we give others the opportunity the following week? Jody, if it were me, I would just register. If you want to come to church, I would say this: if we are getting an overwhelming demand, we will figure out ways to scale our capacity, whether that's more services or other things. So if you want to come to church, put your name down, and we'll see you there. So don't worry about that. Let's see, Shelly Bronder, did you ask a question about the satellite services? Yes. Oh, yes, Shelly. Yes, they will be. So it'll be 9:30 and 11. There will be live broadcasts, and you can get those later, obviously, of the actual service. So it'll be in the BridgeWay from our stage. And so you can tune in online if you're more comfortable. And to say it again, if you just jumped on the call, we want to encourage you. If you want to stay home, if you just feel it's not ready, by all means, be blessed to stay home. We know that you love us. We know that you want to be back, but just do what's right for you. And again, no worries there. And again, if you're also a part of the at-risk community, feel free to just self-select and to stay home. But again, we're going to let you make that decision. Other live format. Yeah, okay, cool. There's a lot of folks who are just answering these questions. Can you buy art? Oh, yeah. So our very own Art McNeese, as many of you know, has written a new book. It is called Making Space for Grace. I have read it already, as I know a few of you have. It is fantastic, and I would highly recommend it to anyone. Right now, we don't have any of the books, but how about this? I think we should pick up a few. So maybe we'll pick up a few for from the church, and then we'll make those available to buy if you want those. And then, or does that? How does that work? I don't know. Art, what is the most financially advantageous for you? I know we can get those from your website, Art, and if you're here, you can post the link to that so you can buy directly from. Do you have the books, Art, or do you get those from a publisher? I don't know how that works. But yes, we will eventually have some at the church for you to purchase if you would like. But you can also pick those up directly from Art and Amazon or Barnes and Noble online. There we go. Thanks, Art. Thank you all. Let's see, Yvette. We are registered, but if there's not enough room. Oh, thank you very much. We appreciate that, Yvette. Again, right now, let's just assume that we're going to have spots, and we'll see what happens. If there's like crazy demand and we way overshoot what we have available, we'll solve that problem when we get there. But right now, let's go ahead and just sign up. Okay. Hey, we'll have copies on May 10th, so you can buy some of those books at BridgeWay Church. The first place you can buy them in person, possibly. Let's see here. I want to just give you my thoughts, my quick devotional here, and then we'll wrap up. And again, you guys keep chatting in the comments, but I'm going to start reading here. This is out of Philippians chapter 3. I love this passage. It's one that maybe you've heard before. Verse 7 says, I once thought these things were valuable, but now I consider them worthless because of what Christ has done. Yes, everything else is worthless when compared to the infinite value of knowing Christ Jesus, my Lord. For his sake, I have discarded everything else, counting it all as garbage, so that I could gain Christ and become one with him. And what Paul has just talked about in the verses preceding this is his spiritual pedigree. So he's talking about how he's basically this incredible person in the Jewish community. He was circumcised when he was 8 years old. He's a pure-blooded citizen of Israel, member of the tribe of Benjamin, et cetera, et cetera. These would have been very impressive things to a Jewish audience. And he says just something very simple and very profound that I just love. He says, all of these things, all of the things that the world would look at to me and find value and worth, a lot of the things that would probably someone else might put their identity in. He says, I've taken all of those things and I've thrown them away. I literally count it as garbage. And technically the word garbage, let me just say that nicely. You might not say it on network television in the original language here. He says it's garbage. I've thrown it away. It doesn't matter because I have found Jesus. And once Paul encounters Jesus, everything that once was valuable is no longer valuable, and things that maybe weren't valuable now are incredibly valuable. Remember, Paul was an enemy of Jesus before Jesus appeared to him and he was converted. And so he's had this radical, life-altering kind of upside down experience where all of these things that he used to love and be running after and put a lot of stock in and his hope in and his identity in, he's left it behind because he found Jesus. And I think for us, that's really good for us to remember that and this is COVID or non-COVID, so many of us are running after so many things, right? And it might be things that we feel give us a sense of identity or importance. It could be things that that our culture looks upon as valuable. And I think about people who run after, wealth and fame and success, and those things are not bad in and of themselves, but oftentimes we put our hopes and our identity in those things. And I just want to encourage us that no matter what we're doing, no matter what we're working on, when it compares to who Jesus is and what he's done for us, everything else really doesn't compare. It pales by comparison. As I may say, it is garbage compared to the surpassing greatness, I believe, is what he says. The infinite value, the surpassing greatness of knowing Jesus. And so I want to remember that for myself, because I know sometimes I want to work hard. I want to put stock in the wrong things. And when I remember who Jesus is, the fact that Jesus died for me and was raised back to life for me, everything else is put in the correct perspective. And so let that be something for you tonight. It was for me. I'm grateful for this time. And again, it's been great. I'm going to take a quick look at the chat here. I'm going to pray for us in just a moment as we conclude here. Let's see. You can go ahead and sign up for the month. Yes, you can sign up for the month. You have to sign up for every Sunday. Yes, Andrea, you do need to sign up for every Sunday. I think that's been answered here, but I just want to make that very clear because we do need to look at that on a per week basis. And my hope is that we'll be out of this phase relatively soon. And so my expectation is that soon we'll be able to move beyond the registration thing. Again, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, as they say, just generally speaking. Okay, let me pray for you. And one note also, as far as next Thursday goes, we are not going to be having our live stream. In fact, there's going to be a few of us at the church doing some preparations and kind of a dry run for Sunday just to make sure that all of our technology and things work. So we will be there at the church. We will not be here. So, so here we go. And whether we continue to keep doing this, I don't know. We'll see. But for next week, just want to let you know, we will not be doing this next week. Let's see. Eric Gergen, good to see you, my friend. Okay, let me pray for you, and then we will wrap up. God, I want to thank you for my friends. Thank you for everyone who was able to hop on the call tonight, as well as those who were not able to. God, we are grateful for your provision for us in this time. And as we get ready to take a small step back to meeting together, I pray that you would just be covering this entire process in your grace and your love, and give myself and our staff and our elders wisdom as we begin a new phase and a new journey here as a church. And so we thank you. Thank you for this time and for this beautiful weather. And it's in Jesus' name we say. Amen. I assume you're saying amen in your houses and on your phones here. Let's see here. Again, yeah. This is the part I never know how to get off these things. So I'm just going to say grace and peace, my brothers and sisters. Have a fantastic night. Godspeed.